Hello. This week's way to be a better human is inspired by being independent. By you being independent, that shows a level of appreciation and love for yourself. If you constantly rely on other people's judgment of you, that that's no bueno. Because if you rely on their judgment towards you, that also means that you judge them. Also, if you consistently rely on your spouse or your partner, then how are you ever supposed to make it out in the real world? What if they die tomorrow or they break up with you tomorrow and they're not there anymore? How are you going to survive? You need to learn to be independent, be able to um, stand up for yourself, post in belief in the things that are important to you. So remember, what you put into the universe, you receive from the universe. So why not try to be a little more independent for yourself? Hello, everyone. This is another episode of the Average Ghost Mom podcast. My child, my sweet, sweet child. She is such a handful sometimes. She's so sassy and uh, she's so sassy. She gets that from me very clearly. She gets the attitude from me. I'm reminded almost daily about it. But she's also really stinking funny. Um, she she's got this new game. It's a car game. She absolutely loves it, and I play it with her. It's not too annoying. It's actually really fun. It's basically 20 questions, but not. So she thinks of something. Could be living, could be non-living, could be an object, could be anything. Anything tangible. And you just have to ask questions about it and try and guess what it is. And we don't only keep it to 20. We ask as many questions as we need to. And it's so interesting to see what she knows and doesn't know. And I mean, we literally just played this today with my mom on the phone. So it was fun to have, she thought of a thing, and then me and my mom took turns alternating asking questions about what it could be. And it's just the things that she thinks of and then the different aspects about it because my mom had asked, like, "What does it eat? Grass and flowers?" And she said, "Grass, yes. I don't think it eats flowers." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And we were asking about like I said, "Well, is it tall? Is it taller than you?" She's like, "No, it's like medium-ish, smallish." I said, "So it's shorter than you?" She goes, "Yes, it's shorter than me. I am taller than it." And I'm like, "Wow." It had fur, four legs. It is she one of our questions is can it be a pet? And she said, "I think so, but you'd have to ask." And so we're like, "Okay, so generally not a pet, but could be a pet." And it was brownish white and let me think. I think that's all that we got. But it ended up being a miniature horse and she's just like I know we've got to prompt the questions, and so her answers are just so intelligent with, like a miniature horse. It could be a pet. You have to ask. That makes total sense. Oh, one of the questions my mom asked was, "Does it live at the zoo? Does it live at the zoo that we go to when I take you to the zoo, the Omaha Zoo?" And she goes, "No." So we're like, "Wow," because the Omaha Zoo has a lot of animals. It's it's one of the top zoos in the US because of how many different animals it has. But at the Henry Dorley Zoo they don't have their zoo. They don't have their farm enclosure anymore. So they don't have horses. They don't have miniature horses. So she's right. They don't have any horses at the zoo, you know? It's crazy. Gosh, she's just showing us every day how smart and intelligent she is and how much she's observing from the world around her and in school, and it's just I tell you, man, it's just so awesome to see, to hear. It's great. Um, Speaking about school, we went to the first seminar that the school had, and it was about child study. Let me see if I can pull up some notes because they said they emailed us the presentation. And I'm so glad that I went to that, honestly. I mean, basically, the person who, oh, that's not what I wanted. The person who conducts a child study is basically Montessori's version of a counselor, okay? So child study, anyone can have a child study done on them. But now they always said like, oh, it doesn't mean like your kid's a bad kid or in trouble. Sometimes they just need a little extra support in the classroom. So like if your kid's like acting out or whatever, the counselor will come in and like, hey, like what's going on? What's up? Like, are you okay? Like, is something happening at home? Is there something happening here at school that we don't know about? Like, what's going on? Where's this coming from? And it's for all ages. I mean, daycare, toddler, preschool, the lower L, upper L, adolescent. I mean, the counselor is one counselor for all of them, but it's only one class. Like each level only has one class, so it's not like an absurd amount of students. But like she said sometimes kids are just hungry, and that's why they're acting like little booty holes. It's because they're like, we're just hungry. And I think most classrooms all have like an open snack table, so like the school provides a snack every day. And I think in the mornings when they get there, it's after they've gone over excuse me, some quiet time, some reading time, some expectations of the classroom for the day. I think they just open up the snacks and just like, you know, hey, if you're hungry, come get what you need and what you want. I don't know if they have like a specific quantity, like okay, well, you can only have like so much because we only have so much, but I don't know. I don't know how it works, but my understanding is they have an open kind of snack bar in the classroom. So like if the kid is just hungry and they just can't focus on their schoolwork because they're hungry, they can just go get a snack, which is awesome. Um let me see. So the person who's in charge at her school has uh a lot of schooling on this. Oh no, it deleted the thing. It didn't save. But they they've got their degree and their education and their certification and a lot of different things, and they're still continuing to go to trainings and conferences and schooling so they can become better at this. And I think that's awesome. I think even once you have your degree in whatever you're getting, continue to learn. Strive to continue to learn because you can always be better at what you have, you know, whether it's specifically a different aspect or it's just, I I will never continue what? I will always continue to try to learn new things, even if it's a small thing. Like for me right now, it's just cooking, just learning new recipes and ways to cook or whatever, and cleaning stuff. You know, learning about what's going in our kids' food, what's in our food in the grocery store. That's things that I care about right now. Ways to be a better parent because I got a lot of things from this. Not saying I'm a bad parent. I will say I'm a good parent, because I care. But I always think there's room for improvement. Josh is like, "Babe, you're perfectly fine. You don't need to change anything." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not perfect, you know? I'm not a perfect mom. I'm a good enough mom. I get the job done, but I always have room to improve when it comes to my parenting style and my parenting skills with Ava. So, and I've got some resources from this child study seminar, and I'm excited to look into it. Um, one of the things, one of the main things is positive punishment, and I had no idea what that meant. I remember when I was in college though, because I was going to be a teacher when I was going to college. The one of the teaching courses, the in classroom teaching course that I took over my J term, she had brought up positive punishment, And I just could not wrap my head around it. I could not understand it, and I kind of just forgot about it. So then when she brought up about how they, like all the teachers are certified or have been trained in positive punishment, and that's what we use around here, I was like, oh, okay, positive punishment. I recognize that. I don't remember what it is though. And one of the moms, I think she's got multiple kids in Montessori. One of the moms had piped up and had given an example of positive punishment that she had done recently for her toddler. So think about if your small tiny child who is just learning how to walk and is kind of okay but not really is trying to climb up on a chair, and they're definitely not supposed to be climbing up on a chair, okay? Rather than saying no, stop, don't do that, instead, say, hey, let's keep both feet on the ground. Instead of telling the child, no, stop, don't do that, instead of telling them what they can't do, tell them what they can do. Like instead of, hey, don't drink soda. Hey, how about we have water instead? You know? Um, and she said that she saw, when she started doing and working on positive punishment, she saw a huge turnaround because when you say things like no, don't, very negative terms, it's kind of can put the kid down, and it kind of starts to like close off their mind. Okay, well, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. So many things I can't do, and that can lead to like a more negative mindset. Whereas if you say, let's keep both feet on the ground, let's have water instead of soda, or tell them what they can do. Open up their minds like, hey, look at it from a different perspective. Here's what you can do in this situation instead of here's what you can't do, you know? If you tell them, if you only, gosh, if you I don't know how to phrase this without pulling in another example, but it's not really related at all. But it's kind of like if you throw a problem to solve the problem, that's not going to work. Your answer to a problem can't be another problem in order to solve the problem. The problem is the child is getting up on the chair. So you say, no, don't do that. Okay, can't get on the chair, so what can I do? Like, what am I allowed to do? Oh, I'm allowed to keep both feet on the ground. Okay, cool. Like telling them what they can't do doesn't solve the problem. Telling them what they can do does. I hope by like repeating myself and talking in the same circle 3 times gets the point across. But we're all positive punishment is a newer concept in my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but in my opinion, it's a newer concept, and it's definitely not one that I grew up with. So it's going to be kind of challenging to reroute my brain to say, whoa, 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 don't tell her what she can't do. Suggest what she can do instead. I mean, because I'm already trying to work at not immediately like raising my voice when she does something wrong. Um, it's it's hard trying to keep my temper in check because sometimes there's been some memes out there. I don't know, ADHD has just infiltrated my algorithm on like everything, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. And so I've seen memes about like me trying to regulate my ADHD while also trying to regulate my child's ADHD, and like the the adult and whatever, they're like fixing to lose their shit. And I felt that way too deep. I was like, I'm over here trying to learn about my shit, and then I also have to teach you your shit, and I can't do both. But I have to learn to do both, or at least I have to learn how to time manage. Like when I have time to take care of myself and my issues, and when I have time to take care of you and your issues. So, anyway, positive punishment is something new that I'm going to start looking more into. I think there's a website they said about it, like positivepunishmentawareness.com or something like. Wait, no, that doesn't sound right. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. Um. Anyway, yeah, that's something I'm going to start to try to look more into and to incorporate, and that is going on my New Year's resolutions. Um, let's see. So They don't call them counselors in the school, they call them student support specialists. That is Montessori's equivalent of a counselor. This can look like helping with taking body breaks, helping facilitate co-regulation, helping with group lessons, participating in child study. Um, it's additional support for teachers. It helps with conflict resolution for both teachers and for students, and it really drives in the restorative process because usually conflicts in the classroom is between two people, right? Generally speaking, and we need to learn and teach our children how about the restorative process because we want to be friendly with everyone. It's much easier to be friends with everyone and get along with everyone and not just have like a mortal enemy that you have to go to school with for the next 5 years. So the restorative process helps teaches kids how to resolve their conflicts and still be friends in the end. You know, still have understanding that I don't hate you, you don't hate me. Maybe we just have different ideas about this, and that's okay. Um, because again, you don't want to have to like wake up every day and be like, ugh, God, I do not want to have to deal with Billy today. I don't even want to have to go to school and look at his stupid face today. He makes me so mad. No, like we don't want to have our children waking up every day and like groaning about school because of like one or two students. So the restorative process kind of helps put everything back into like a balance, in the classroom. Um, who benefits from student support specialist? People acclimating to new environments and schedules. So like especially like Ava, who this is her first year in Montessori. She's not even a whole month in yet. And so this all just seems like a big old playtime to her. Because Montessori is very hands-on, has very tactile learning equipment and tools. And so to her, she's just playing, which is crazy because of how much she's learning. Because although I pick her up after school and I'm like, oh, what'd you learn today? She's like, I don't know. On the way to school, she suddenly remembers, she's like, oh, mom, like, did you know the sun could fit 1,000,000 Earths in it? And I'm like, wow. She's like, oh, mom, did you know a rock fell out of the sky and killed all the dinosaurs? And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So, mom, did you know that all of the land on Earth used to be one big piece? I'm like, oh, wow. Mom, did you know? And like, she just says like the craziest things. And it's like, wow. And all that's in your little tiny noggin and you remembered it. That's awesome. She uh she brought home a Play-Doh uh not demonstration model, a Play-Doh model of the earth that's been cut in half, and so you can see the different layers. You can see the crust, the mantle, the inner core and outer core, or outer core, inner core, out of Play-Doh. And she's like, Mom, that's what that is. I'm like, that's cool. Can you name them? She said, no. I said, blah, 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 blah. She goes, oh, how did you know that's what it is? I'm like, because I've I went to school. She said, "You went to school?" Yeah, I went to school, child. Anyway, who else supports? Well, nope. Who else benefits from a support specialist? Those who have trouble accepting limits. Because children have trouble accepting limits. If we say, okay, for the next 20 minutes you can run around, and the children wants to run around for 30 or 40 minutes, that's hard to accept sometimes. If we say, okay, lunchtime's over, and the child is like, I still have more to eat, sometimes we have a hard time accepting like time limits, or if we say, hey, we need to keep our volume down and children keep getting loud, it's very hard sometimes to keep our volume down and to be mindful about it. So um those adjusting those adjusting to new medication, because mental health is a lot bigger these days. Children are getting diagnosed more than back in the day, quote unquote. So kids are on new medications and stuff, and it's an adjustment period for them, as well as being an adjustment period for school. So it's helpful to have an extra set of eyes on the child when they're there at school for 6 hours a day when you don't get to see them and see how they act and stuff. Because also children can act different at school than they do at home until they become comfortable enough at school. Because that's also kind of like the mom thing where like kids act different for mom than they do for dad, than they do for grandma and grandpa. Because like generally speaking, kids feel so much safer with mom and slash or dad and like than they do for grandma and grandpa. Like Ava acts generally pretty well for grandma and grandpa, but when she comes home, she be acting like a damn fool sometimes. And that's because she feels safe enough to act like a damn fool here. So on one hand, it's like, that's fantastic for you, kid, but can you please stop being a dickhead for once at my house? Please. Like, so anyway, we all hope, of course, our children act great at school, but she probably acts a little more shy. She probably isn't fully out of her shell yet. And could you imagine if she was on ADHD medication and at a new school? That'd be crazy. Um, Support specialists help with people who need space to talk it out. Um, just giving kids that space to speak up for themselves when they don't feel like they have the space to speak up for themselves. What is it? Not adapt, not accord. Um, Gosh, I can't think of. I'm pretty sure it starts with A, but being able to. I can't think of it. I'm sure the word's probably somewhere in this presentation. Um, and then also for those who have some kind of exceptionality that hasn't been discovered yet, whether it's your kid is really smart and can go up an extra couple grades, or your kid needs a little extra help in certain like places, that's fine. You know, either way, that's what the student support specialist is there for, is to help with recognizing these things. Let me see. What is this? Why child study? Meh. Um, so part of the universal supports with Montessori, which kind of, circles in with child study. So Montessori has flexible seating. They're not going to sit in the same desk in the same place for 6 to 8 hours a day. They can choose if they want to sit here, sit there, sit on the ground, sit in a chair. Now, there are some designated, like, no, we have to sit at a table time, or no, we have to sit on the floor time. But generally, when it's their work time, they get to choose. And if they want to sit on the floor, they have special kind of lap desks that they have. And this also helps with trying with conflict resolution. Like if someone's bothering me, like imagine if your kid had to sit in the same desk. Well, actually, we can all imagine sitting in the same desk, all right? And Jessica behind me keeps clicking her pencil, and I've asked her to stop and she won't, and it's not really bothering anybody else enough to like get up and do something about it. Well, I could have just resolved the problem by getting up and going to the other side of the classroom to do my work, but I can't because I have to sit in the same desk for the whole class period, you know? So, and sometimes like kids just need to be in a slightly new environment so they can refocus on things. It's I think it's fantastic. I mean, why it doesn't really matter where you get the work done in the classroom, just get the work done, you know? And if you just would rather go sit in this area because it's shadier or the air conditioning vent isn't blowing directly on you, then okay, fine. Um Sensory supports, so that kind of goes in with the flexible seating a little bit, is sometimes like the lights are too bright in this area, but if I can just turn around and face a wall, I won't have that issue anymore. There's also most of their learning supplies is tactile, so that kind of goes with the sensory as well. And sometimes like kids just need like an extra little helper with that. So I know um after child study has been done, that sometimes some students can have like an extra thing to help in the classroom with helping keep them focused, whether it's like a fidgety thing or a special kind of seat. We can get those tools for them as they need them, or like noise canceling headphones, which Ava's already mentioned to me about those, and I don't know if she actually needs them, or if, oh, well, I don't have those, I want them. If she just thinks that it's cool and she just wants that. I know I definitely had that because like everyone in my class was getting braces, and I was like, okay, I don't have braces. I want braces. I want to be cool like them and have braces because I thought braces were so cool. And like realistically, I did need braces, but not terribly. Like My teeth are pretty straight. I have a couple like crooked, going on, but I didn't need braces, Anyway, access to nature. Oh my gosh, they're outside like all the damn time. They're always doing something outside. And they have, I think she said like 11 acres of like forestry that they get to go and walk around and explore in as needed when it's appropriate when they're doing that. And I mean, what in what classroom, in what class, in what school, at any point of our lives did we get to go outside and have lunch outside or have our class outside? And even those who did have class outside, you still had to sit down on the stairs. You were just outside. Or sit down on like the patio area of the lunch, or sit down on the cement that's in front of the school. No, they get up and they go and they explore, and that's part of keeping the creativity and the imagination alive, which keeps them curious. By keeping creativity alive, it keeps them curious. It keeps them asking why. Why does this look like that? Why does this do that? Why is this plant here? Why does it look like this? Why does it smell like that? Bugs, nature, birds, the ground, everything. There's biology out there. Like, well, why? Perfect. Yes, keep asking why. It's awesome. And yes. Anyway, individualized instruction. So that's another thing is the kids like in the morning, it's hold on. In the morning, before lunch, it's okay, we're going to work on these three subjects, but you can work on them at any rate, at any pace that you want, as long as by the end of this time you have these things done, And each kid can do what they want to do when they want to do how they want to do it, as long as by the end of the day these things are done. And sometimes if you want to do it with a buddy to bounce ideas back and forth, or maybe your buddy knows a little bit more about something than you, or vice versa, there you go. You know, it's not the same systematic learning for every kid in the class, and too bad, so sad if you don't get it. You know, Ava can learn at the pace that she needs to, or in her eyes, play at the pace that she needs to. Um, bodily autonomy. Ooh, I don't remember what she said about that. But they are on a 3-year cycle. So I had pretty sure I mentioned that her lower elementary classroom has first, second, and third graders in it. So I think that is so awesome because not only does it reduce the amount of change that she has to adapt to each year, but for these first 3 years, she'll have the same teachers with the same helpers, um, theoretically, as long as the teacher doesn't leave or whatever, or go to a different school or move. But the classroom will be the same, the tools will be the same, most of the kids will be the same. Of course, the third graders will go off to the upper elementary and they'll get a new batch of first graders, so there'll be some new kids every year, but also the it's going to be the same system. You come in, we sit down first 15 minutes of reading, we have like a classroom chat, you go off and you work on these subjects. And the subjects, it's going to be this like Ava's going to have 3 years to understand and grasp these concepts, you know? So, if she gets really good at science and she picks it up and understands it and moves right along quickly, she could go up to like a second grade level of science as a first grader. And let's say she moves up to second grade, like it's next year, she's a second grader now, and maybe she's only at like a first grade level for math. So she can get more support in that, and the teachers will see it. Now, of course, they try to keep up and like, okay, we're going to try and like push you to understand these concepts, but maybe you need to skip a couple and then, we can come back to them later. We have more time, and the teachers get to learn how the students are, how they react, what they need, and it's not a new teacher every year having to learn the student. So it's I really enjoy that for her, especially for her because all she's ever known is quick changes all the time, and it's crazy. She went to uh she went to the same daycare, but like she went in she was late to walking. She was delayed when it came to walking. So when she was first put in daycare, she should have been in a different class, but they had to put her in the nursery because she couldn't walk yet. And they didn't want the other kids like running around and accidentally bumping into her and she's not able to hold her ground, you know? So she went from the nursery to the like 1 and 2 year olds classroom. Um and then she was there for about a year, and then when she was 4, they put her in pre preschool, basically 4-year-old preschool, and that's in a different classroom with a different teacher. And then she moved up to 5-year-old preschool, and that's in a different classroom with a different teacher. And then I pulled her out halfway because I got a new job. I was promoted basically, and I got a pay raise, so I didn't qualify for childcare assistance anymore. Um, and I like I made $20 over the amount I could make weekly to afford like to qualify for childcare assistance. They're like, "Oh, you make $20 too much, so you can use that to put your kids in daycare." Sure, sure. Daycare that's like $200 a week. Yep, $20. Thank you. So, I don't know. I just pulled $200 out of my pocket. I don't even know how much it is these days. I mean, it it's ridiculous though. It's crazy. Like, Lord. So anyway, so she was in daycare, moved around every year, pulled her out halfway, and then she was at home with me because I had a work from home job. I still have the work from home job, but she was at home. And then um let's see. Oh, and then we moved. So we moved to a whole new area, whole new people. She doesn't know anyone. Granted, she didn't know anyone really before. It's not like we had friends and plays before, but we moved to a whole new area, whole new school, and she starts kindergarten. And that is so different from anything she's ever done before, you know? And so she has to get used to that. And then, like 3 months into kindergarten, I pull her and we move to a different school because life changes. And so now she's in this new school, new teacher, new process, new place, new people, new house, new living situation because now mommy and daddy don't live together anymore. And so I just feel like this child has had to go through so much change so early. And granted, on one hand, oh, go through all this change as early as you can. Like, if you're going to go through the changes, go through it early because it's easier. Like, kids are so adaptable. She won't really even notice, you know? But now she's a first grader. And I hope to be able to keep her here because if I have to put her in a public school next year, back to the systematic of everything, I'm like, God, this kid just can't catch a break. And it's my fault, you know? So, ugh, yeah. Let's see. So discipline in Montessori, positive discipline. That's positive punishment. Positive discipline um overlaps with child study. So that's like if the kid's like acting out a lot or is not behaving well, then the counselor will come in and just like, hey, well, what's going on? Um, there's some non-negotiables, like obviously you can't hit, kick, but like the non-negotiables, right? I'm talking like bullying. I'm talking like you can't just walk up and just punch a kid in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like the very obvious, we don't act like this in the classroom or in public at all. Um, when staff call me, language of reverence and restorative process. I don't remember quite everything she said. It was a while ago, but it's one thing that when I first ever got to learn the teachers, like stepped on property and it was a teacher meeting, meet the teacher meeting. Um, I got to see her two teachers. I got to see the helper teachers, and then I got to see quote the counselor, and she okay. Initially, I was kind of worried because she dresses so differently. She dresses like, oh God, where like normal teachers, they have like a normal hair color and they're a normal haircut and normal clothes. Like it's semi-professional, it's chillax professional. It could be like a fun shirt with pants, but they're khakis or they're slacks, like not really jeans or anything. Like the counselor just wears whatever. She has pink hair, it's cut in a crazy style. She's got some fun glasses. She wears crazy clothes, not inappropriate crazy clothes, but like t-shirt and jeans. And she's like, hey, And initially I was like, okay, why is she not dressed like for the part? But now it totally makes sense. She also doesn't go by Mrs. her last name. She goes by her first name. The kids call her her first name. And that totally makes sense that she dresses. And I'm not trying to bash her. I love her style. It just threw me for a second, but now that I understand what her role is at the school, she dresses to connect with the kids. If she's not in there wearing like short heels and a dress with like bangs and she dresses that's so chillax to help the kids feel chillax. She dresses like one of them theoretically, you know, and that's like a quicker way to gain trust from the students is dressing in a manner that doesn't feel like, oh, when you sit down with me, you're in trouble. She's not sitting down with business pantsuit Mrs. Smith. No, we get to go sit down with this is a fake name. We get to go sit down with Jessie, just like chit chat. I get to go have lunch with Jessie and just talk about my problems. That's so much chiller and better and relaxed. I mean, because there's nothing than having to go sit with a teacher and knowing that you're in trouble and just having to be like professional about all of it. Like, it's, I like it. I love it. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want more of it. That's what I'm saying. So, like I said, at first I was like, what? But now I totally get it. Um, let's see. What else? Oh, I got to meet a mom of a student that's in Ava's class from the child. She was at the child study. She has 3 kids in Montessori. That's crazy. What does her husband do for a job? What does she do for a job? Anyway, 3 kids in Montessori. Anyway, so that was kind of cool. Maybe I'll have a. Well, she has 3 boys, so I don't think I'll have a play date because Ava's got Barbies and dolls. I don't really think boys are gonna want to play like that, but I don't know. Maybe I might reach out to her about some questions if I have any. She told me to reach out if she does, which is if I do, which is cool. But yeah, I am so happy that I went to child study. Um, and I can't wait to go to more seminars and learn about other things about the school. I'm pumped. This one was a first great one, and it really kind of set my expectations for the next few. So anyway, moving on, the girls got groomed, so now they don't stink anymore. And oh, we went to Top Golf on one day after work. Um, it was a kind of like a work party for Josh's job, and y'all, this is the first time Ava's been to Top Golf. So when I was explaining it to her, she was like, "Oh, we're going golfing like what Aunt Andrea and I did." And I was like, "No, that's putt putt. This is where we go to a building and you stay at one place and you just hit balls off from your one place." And she was confused and I showed her a video and she got excited, so she was really pumped to go to Top Golf. She was so pumped that where Josh and I hit between 32 and 40 balls, Ava hit 80 exact. She hit 80 balls. Um, she was just swinging away. She would go over the buzzer, put it on the thing, hit it. And she was getting pretty good. She made quite a few at the 25-yard line, quite a few at the 50, and a lot of, she had a handful of balls that rolled past the 50 but didn't quite make it to the 65. I think it's a 65-yard hole. She didn't quite make it all the way to 65, but she made like 62, 63 yards. You know, it was it was awesome. She had a fun time, and she was complaining about her hand hurting on the way back to the car, and I was like, "Well, yeah, because you hit 80 golf balls. Of course, your hand is going to be hurting." But she had so much fun. So We might have a little golfer on our hands. Let me see. Oh, the school posted about a peace festival that's happening in September. I'm really excited to see that. Um, I hope maybe I get to help with setting that up because I want to be on one of their volunteer teams. Um, so I'm excited for this peace festival to see how this for this first year and all. There's a little hike that we get to do, and yeah, yeah, I'm psyched. Let's see. We had our anniversary. Our anniversary is in August. I was gonna say October. Our anniversary is in August, and we went to Connors. Oh my goodness, y'all. Connors is a fancy restaurant, but I love their food. It's one of my favorite places to go to for like a nice night out, right? You have to have a you have to have a reservation if that tells you anything. Um and Josh is so funny. He does not like seafood, really. He'll eat it sometimes and every now and then he'll get like a hankering and he'll go to Captain D's, which I give him the side eye for, but he's like, I just don't like that fake processed, frozen, shipped across the US fish. Like I want it caught and butchered in the same place. And I'm like, okay, yeah, and we're definitely not getting that here in the middle of the US. We're not in the middle of the US because I'm literally from the middle of the US, but I mean, like, you're not on the coastline being in North Alabama. So he doesn't eat seafood, but he goes, I just want to get one crab cake just to see, you know? It's a fancy restaurant. Maybe it'll taste better. Maybe they do it good enough. And I'm like, okay. I don't like crab or lobster, but I would like to try this because I too sometimes think I like crab cakes. So we get it. He takes a bite and he goes, and he waits for my reaction because we both take a bite the first time. He takes a bite and then he stops chewing and he looks at me and he waits for me and I'm taking it and I'm eating it, I'm chewing it and I'm like, man, yeah. And then like it just hits me. It's a wall. It's just boom. Seafood bottom of the sea floor. It's just oh, oh, oh no. Oh no. And I decided initially I was going to take one bite of crab cake by itself and then one bite of crab cake with the sauce, assuming that the crab cake was going to taste okay enough. And I said, "Oh no." And I did my fork in the sauce and hoping the sauce would make it better and it did not. And I was like, no, I cannot finish this. I cannot. I will barely swallow the bite that I took, but I am not eating any more of this. And it's not like the restaurant did a bad job. It's literally I don't like crab. I don't like lobster. So, it's literally I'm going into this knowing I'm probably not going to like it. So, it's definitely not on the restaurant. They made it right. They made it how they're supposed to. I'm sure it tastes great to everybody else who likes this stuff. I am not one of those people. So he got the chicken parm. He loves their chicken parm. First of all, he's a hoe for chicken parm, but he does not go for chicken parm because people make it and the chicken's rubbery or the breading is soggy. There's always something wrong with it anywhere else. But he says Connors makes it perfect. The chicken is juicy and the breading is still crispy even with all the sauce. It's perfect. So he got the chicken parm, baked potato, side salad, and I got, are you ready? Hold on to your butts for this one. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Um, I got the blue cheese filet, which is a 9-ounce filet mignon cooked perfectly to a medium rare with a creamy blue cheese glop on top that you can spread along every bite. And it's covered in a red wine reduction sauce. And I always get an extra side of red wine reduction sauce because it's a nice sweetness to go with the saltiness of the blue cheese on a steak cooked to perfection. Oh my goodness. That is one thing I could eat every single day and never get tired of. I also got a baked potato and side salad as well. And we got fried green tomatoes as an appetizer, and it came with a big old ice cream scoop of cheesy grits, and it was covered in this immaculate sauce, right? Well, I should reserve the word immaculate for the red wine reduction sauce. That's how I feel very strongly about this sauce, and I will never waver from this dish. I wavered one time from this dish, and I will never do it again. I did myself dirty by not ordering the blue cheese filet one time. I was very upset. It just didn't hit like how the red wine reduction sauce on blue cheese hits. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we got fried green tomatoes and these cheesy grits, and I'm not a grits fan. It's the texture. It's the texture. Honestly, I tasted it because I was like, okay, I don't like grits because of texture. And he was like, I get you on that, but cheesy grits are good. Just try it. And I said, yes, I will just try it because it's been a very long time since I've had grits. And maybe the texture doesn't bother me to have especially when a fancy restaurant makes it. Maybe it's different. And so I tried a little bit of just cheesy grits, and I was like, I have an easier time eating this because the taste is really good, but it's still the texture is not pleasant for me. So then I saw him eat a bite of cheesy grits on a piece of fried green tomato. I said, okay, well let me try that. And it just was not what I wanted it to be. It just was not hitting for me. I'm like, no, still that doesn't do it. I don't need the cheesy grits. So we had the fried green tomatoes in this lovely kind of cheesy-ish sauce with these extra little bits of the holy trinity that the southerners used to cook: onion, bell pepper, celery, and there was some little bits of sausage in it. Ooh, it was nice. Um, oh my gosh, and Connors, so you get a roll and pesto butter. Whoever thought of combining pesto and butter? Oh, I can't even say what. Like, it's not appropriate. It's extremely sexual. And that's all I'm going to say. I'll let your mind do the rest of the work. You deserve some fantastic sexual pleasuring. Whoever invented pesto butter. Oh, Mr. Connor. Yes. Or Mrs. Connor. I mean, whomever. You deserve it. I'll give it to you. I don't even like what I'm thinking of, but I'll do whatever you want to have done. You deserve it, honestly. So, and then Josh is, after dinner, we're like, "Oh my gosh, we need to go boxes." And after dinner, he's like, "Well, we should get dessert." And I'm like, "Dessert? Why do we need dessert?" He's like, "Well, because it's our anniversary. We should get dessert." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And we swing by, there's this new cupcake place open at Bridge Street. It's called Bite Me, and they have Cookie Crumble, how they do really over the top cookies. Bite Me does over the top cupcakes. And we looked through the window on our way to the front door and we're like, oh, they look kind of busy. Because we couldn't decide between Bite Me or Edgar's. Edgar's is a bakery and has some hot ish foods. Um, like a bakery and deli. That's like what they are, kind of. More bakery, and they just happen to have a deli-ish restaurant. Anyway, deli-ish. That's just delish. Anyway, we couldn't decide between Bite Me or Edgar, so I said, well, let's just go check out Bite Me. And if there's nothing that is screaming, oh my god, I have to take this home, then we'll go to Edgar's. Well, as we're walking up to Bite Me, we kind of look through the window and we're like, oh, they look kind of busy. And we open the front door and they are slam packed full. And we're like, yep, nope, not going in there. Not worth it. That's our sign. We were not getting Bite Me today. So get in the car, go down to Edgar's. And one of my friends, Caitlin, she always gets a strawberry cake from Edgar's on her birthday. So she has been raving about it to me since I have met her. And so I said, okay, I have to get a slice of strawberry cake. Period. Done. So I found my slice of strawberry cake. He finds a slice of strawberry cheesecake. It was pretty good. He got it. And then on our way to check out, I see a warm orange coconut cinnamon bun. I was like, ooh, I want to get that. And then we see a honey pecan cinnamon bun, and I'm like, I also want to get that. So we got all of it. We got 2 cold pieces of cake, and we got 2 warm cinnamon buns. And cinnamon buns definitely are better warmed up rather than sitting in your car for 10 minutes and then sitting on the counter for like 20 minutes and then eating it. But they were still good. I would still definitely recommend that. And we came home, we sat in bed eating our dessert pieces. I ate half of the cinnamon buns and that was it. I haven't eaten my piece of cake yet. And we watched a horror movie. What is it called? The Clove Hitch Killer, maybe? Might be what it's called. I don't know. Don't quote me. I think it's the Clove Hitch Killer or the Killer of Clove Hitch. No, a clove hitch is a kind of tie, a kind of knot. I think it's the Clove Hitch Killer, something like that. It was really good. It had both of us like, well, could it be this person? Could it be that person? Well, could they actually be framing this person? So it is this other person? Well, maybe not. Maybe well, or could this be the case? Could they actually be a victim? Oh, yeah. It had us it had us thinking we knew, and then we'd change, and then we'd say, okay, well, I think it's either this or it was good. It was good. You can see it coming, but the little kind of loopholes, it's like, whoa, whoa. I will say though, I eventually did guess it right. Josh had some really good ideas about like what the truth was, but it was good. It was good. Not gory, just kind of more of a psychologic, but there is a resolution to the story. I mean, it's an open-ended resolution technically, but there is a resolution to the story. No blood, no guts, no gore. Um so if you like horror movies or like horror thriller kind of movies, it's pretty good. I would check it out. And so yeah, that was our anniversary. It was pretty good. I I cannot complain. Um oh, I can tell you guys here because my boyfriend doesn't listen to my podcast. I I have to say it quietly though cuz he's on the other side of the wall. So I he's like, "Babe, it's okay I didn't get you flowers, is it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. You got me steak. Like, I will take steak over flowers any day." But one of my favorite memories from when we first started dating is he took me to the Van Gogh experience. And I don't know how many people saw the advertisement for it because it's a traveling art um exhibit. But he took me to the Van Gogh experience, and it was extremely emotional for the both of us. It was tear inducing. And ever since then, I always kind of like hang on to Van Gogh as like something special for us. So I purchased 2 paint by number paintings. One of them is Starry Night, and one of them is the sunflowers in the vase. And I look, I opened it the actual day of our anniversary and I said, because I was in my head, I was like, oh, I'll just paint this really quick, like while I'm working or whatever. And then I open it up and I'm like, whoa, I should have started this like 2 months ago. There are so many little detail pieces. There's like 25 different numbers of paint and it's so detailed. I'm like, well, shit. I'm not even going to have this done by the weekend for when we actually do our anniversary. So yeah, it's not done right now as I'm recording this, but it will be done before the end of the month, I think, because I have at least one whole week left. I think I'll get it done. I think. But anyway, I that's what I'm doing for him because he loves my paintings. I painted him a couple things. Not good. They're not good at all. But I want to have more Van Gogh in my house anyway, so just it's kind of like just a little like nod towards, you know, just yeah, I like it. So that's what I got him for Valentine's Day for our anniversary. He got me steak. Yes. Let's see. Ooh, we had a play date. Girl, we had a play date with Lindley. And it was, girls had so much fun. The girls had so much fun that when Lindley had to leave, Ava bawled her eyes out. And then she fell asleep in 5 minutes. It was kind of nice. But they came over after work on Friday and I cooked us burgers. Yeah. Cooked us burgers and we had side salad and we had tater tots and we had a fruit of some sort, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm blowing smoke out of my ass. I don't know. Either way, good food, good friends, good company, good vibes. And I'm excited. It's kind of funny because Lindley's mom is like, I think Lindley has ADHD. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she does. And she lists off a couple things that makes her think Lindley has ADHD. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure as well. And then she's like, wonder where she gets that from. And I just like look at her like, dude, you? She goes, well, maybe. I mean, I'm kind of thinking maybe I might have a little bit or something. And I said, girlfriend, do you want me to get my notebook out of I haven't known you very long, less than a year. We have only had like 4 or 5 play dates. I could get a notebook out right now of all of the ADHD things that you do, just in the 5 play dates that we've had. And she said, oh no, what? I said, she goes, I know I'm like really, really bad at texting back. And I said, yes, you are, which is fine because like we're talking about this in like a very funny manner, so she's I'm able to say all this stuff and she knows that like I'm not actually seriously upset about any of this, but she is very bad at texting back. I mean, but I know this, and I really want to foster her in my friendship and Lindley's and Ava's friendship, and so I am very patient with her, because I know how to be patient with her, because I understand, because I get it. um She has over 240 unread text messages on her phone right now. And what I do is I will text her 2 weeks in advance, is like the first text that I send her about a play date, trying to plan a play date. And then I give her 4 business days. And then I wait 4 days before I give her 4 business days, or I text 4 days before the date of the play date that I'm trying to set up. And then usually she'll text me back. And then I'll text her a question that pertains to details of the play date, and she won't text back. So then 2 days before the play date or the day before the play date, I will text, hey, can I get confirmation on these details? And then she texts me back. So she was like, oh, I'm so appreciative that you're patient with me, blah 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 blah, because I don't text back. And I'm like, it's okay. I get it. I know. I have a bad habit of reading the text and then not texting back, but that's because I've read it and then I forget about it. It's not because I'm ignoring a large task like your 240 text messages, where it's just so big of a task you just can't handle it right now, so you push it off to later and then you forget about it, right? So, and she goes, and I'm really bad. Like, I'm not bad with time management at work, but like with like personal stuff, I'm so bad at time. And I'm like, oh yeah, like that one time that I said, hey, be at my house at 11. And you said, girl, I'm trying to get there as early as I can. And I said, okay, come over at 10:30. And then you didn't get there till 11:30. And she said, oh my God, that's how late I was. And I'm like, it's okay though. Well, because like I get it. You know, I will say personally, people, there's a difference. There's a difference between actually trying to get to places on time and having that time blindness, compared to people who just don't give a shit and who aren't considerate about time, especially when it's a window of time, you know? People who show up to hair appointments 2 hours early and expect to still get their hair done piss me off. However, though, I mean, really anyone who doesn't show up to any time thing, even if it's just socially and it's fine to be late. If you're late, that makes me mad. But I know that that's a more of a me problem than it is a you problem, because you showed up to our play date an hour and slash or 30 minutes late. And although yes, that did it only frustrates me because then I'm in like I'm in a not a bind. What's the word? I'm in God, why you know me. I can never think of the word when I want the word. I'm in between things. I can't sit down and do this because there's something I could do before she gets here to make this, better or to be the best or whatever. But it's like, but I need to know, is she on her way so I can start some things, or is she not yet so I can sit down and take a breath? Or should I get this going? Or is she even gonna want that? And it's like, when is she getting here? 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 And I'm I'm in the middle, and I hate being in the middle. There's a term for it and I can't think of it. It makes me mad. But I I need like, I need you to be here on time so I can do things on the time when it needs to be done. I have such bad a bad thing when it comes to the time, because like, even if I'm late, I'm like, oh my god, like if this doesn't happen on time at this time, then this thing can't happen at this time, or I can't enjoy something for the whole time. And time is just it's just very particular for me. I hate being late to things. But this was just a play date. This is not a doctor's appointment. So you can be late and it's fine. It's just a small social event, and it's okay, and I can get over myself about it. That's kind of what it boiled down to for me. So, although yes, in the moment I was frustrated after I like took a couple deep breaths and was like, "No, this is a me problem, not a her problem." I was fine. But anyway, yeah, no. She definitely has ADHD. And we tangent all the dang time in our conversation, but it's fine because it's fun. It's so nice that we can tangent in conversation and both of us do not care, you know? Unless it was something really important, but we generally, like, when you're just girl, when you're just having mom time, just having girl time, nothing's really that important. I need to circle back to it, you know? It was fun. It was so nice. Because I know when I tangent with Josh that sometimes he can get really annoyed because he's like, babe, stay focused, stay on track. Finish one thought before you move to the next. And I'm like, nope, I can't. That old thought already out of here. I have no idea what I was saying. So I know it annoys him. And so it was just kind of nice to know that I wasn't annoying her because we were doing it to each other. It was fun. Anyway. Oh my goodness, y'all, my new schedule is throwing me off at work because now I have to work a whole hour later because I start a whole hour later. And it really gets in the way of trying to get dinner done in a timely manner when I'm working on mountain time. So, my next episode is going to be on like quick, not the whole recipe, but just dinner ideas and my personal thoughts and stuff. So it's this until I can. Oh my goodness, I hope the mic did not catch that. I'm so sorry, my stool squeaked bad. um anyway, I'm hoping I can sit down and reorganize my daily schedule because I've gotten like no house cleaning done either. I should have thrown some of Josh's laundry in the washer before I sat down and recorded all this stuff, and I didn't. And it's like past 9 o'clock at night, so it's gonna kind of be bad. I don't see any work shirts in here for him, so I should have done that earlier today, and I didn't because I have no control over what I do right now. But house isn't getting clean. I'm stressed out. I feel like, oh, limbo. That's the word. I hate feeling in limbo. That's the middle I was talking about. I'm in limbo. Do I do this or do I do that? Like, do I have time to get this done or not? I don't know, but I don't want to sit here and text you and nag you when you're coming over, when you're leaving, when you're coming over, because that's not the vibe. Anyway, yeah. In the mornings, I feel like I've been in limbo because it's just, ugh, terrible. New schedule, and like for me, when there's big changes like this, the first thing that goes is my personal hygiene. Like for the month of August, I think I've only taken maybe 6 showers, right? And I'm recording at the beginning of the very last week of August right now, and I've only taken 6 showers. Have a how Ask me how many times I've brushed my teeth. I have no clue, but not enough. Um, and it's pretty bad. So, hopefully tonight before I go to bed, I'll get the rest of that taken care of, things reorganized because it's been a month and it's been like 25 days too long. So, I'll get it figured out. Also, my New Year's resolutions. Hold on, you're coming out of the recording studio with me to go get my notebook thing right here, which has the list of my New Year's resolutions. And I forgot to bring it into my quote unquote recording studio. So, these are the New Year's resolutions that I plan on doing so far. Hold on. What was the one that I meant to add? There was something I meant to add. Oh, I know what it was. Okay, hold on. Let me write it down before I forget. Ooh, books. Okay. In no particular order, because some of these I plan on starting like month by month. Some of them I plan on doing every month. Which, okay, like if I start one in January, it's gonna go all the way to December. But I might start a different one or an additional one, I should say, in February. I'm not gonna start it in January. So I have a whole month to work on it before adding a new thing, right? I want to stop cussing. I just don't feel the need to say fuck and shit and hell. I don't know. They're just sentence enhancers at this point, and I don't need to enhance my sentences with those. So, and also, I'm a mother of a 6-year-old who picks up on this stuff, and she understands what cuss words are. She knows she can't say them, but I don't know. I just feel like I want to exemplify this better for her as she grows up. Um, Positive punishment. That I talked about that earlier. I want to be more creative. I want to get back into like painting and arts and crafts and drawing and stuff. I really, I want to turn that side of my brain back on again. Stay on top of money, not overspending. I really this past not calendar year, but basically ever since so in my previous relationship, I was not the one in charge of the finances. So then when I separated, I was the one in charge of my finances, and I was fantastic for the first like I don't know, 4 months, and then I was like, "Oh, I have adult money. I can spend it however I want to." Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Oh, I've spent $3,000 extra that I shouldn't have. Crazy. So, this year is the year of saving. 2026, we have some, big plans that we're trying to save for, and I I'm gonna rein in on some things. I also feel like I've acquired too many physical things, and it's too much. I have too many things and I don't like it, and I'm probably gonna go and get rid of a whole bunch of stuff at the end of this year. So before the end of the year. Um I want to try and gain 5 new followers on TikTok every month. You know, just make that a goal. Um, if I gain 5 new a month, that's 60, followers that I have. So if I can at least continue to post a video every day and I explain, oh, I just want one extra follower today, that's fine. So 5 followers, that's a little over one every week of the month. And I think maybe I could try hard enough and I could do it. Um, I also want to learn one new bird every week. I want to get back on my bird thing. I had a bird thing. It didn't go very far because I started the podcast, but I want to learn one new bird a week. So it's 52 new birds in a year. And I want to read more. I used to read all the time when I was in middle school and high school, and then free will came about in college, and I never read again. I have all these books in my house. Josh has all these books, and I don't want to sit here and doom scroll and play stupid games on my phone at the end of the night. Like I want to read. So I'm going to try and read one book a month because I know I don't have very much downtime, and when I do have downtime, I want to split it into other hobbies that I have. So if I can at least read one book a month, that will have been 12 books in a year, and I think that's a good goal to start off with. So those are my New Year's resolutions now. And if I start on them now, like I said in my last episode, I can make the game plan and I should be more successful in executing, as long as I don't let my ADHD overtake things and I stop using my agenda. Because when I use my agenda, I am successful in what I do. But when I get overwhelmed and I don't use my agenda because I'm overwhelmed by stuff, then I become overwhelmed even more and stressed out. So that's what I have. That's all that I have for right now, for today, for this episode. Big little life update. No, not a big little life update. Just an update. So, anyway, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.